And now we reach a level where Instagram is no longer just about growth, not even just about influence. It becomes about expansion, about turning everything you have built into something that extends beyond the platform itself. Because at this stage, the real question is no longer how do I grow, but how do I sustain, scale, and dominate consistently over time without losing control. And this is where only a few creators truly understand the deeper game. Imagine this clearly. You are no longer chasing views. Views are coming to you. You are no longer forcing engagement. Engagement is happening naturally. And this shift feels powerful, but it also brings a new challenge. Because once growth starts coming in consistently, maintaining that level becomes harder than reaching it in the first place. This is where most creators make a silent mistake. They relax too early. They slow down their effort, they stop analyzing deeply, they assume they have figured it out, and slowly, without realizing it, their growth begins to decline. Not because the system changed, but because they stopped evolving with it. Because the truth is simple. Instagram rewards momentum, not history. What worked yesterday may not work tomorrow. What goes viral today may feel outdated next week. And this constant shift means you must stay adaptable, always observing, always refining, always moving forward. Now let's talk about something even more critical: scaling your influence beyond content. At this stage, your content is not just entertainment or information. It becomes leverage. It opens doors. It creates opportunities. It allows you to connect with people, brands, and communities that were previously out of reach. But this only happens if your presence is strong enough. Because brands, collaborations, and opportunities don't just look at your followers. They look at your engagement, your consistency, your identity, and your value. And value is what defines long-term success. Now imagine turning your Instagram into something more than just a profile, into a platform. A platform where your audience trusts you, listens to you, and engages with you consistently. A platform where your content has purpose, direction, and impact. This is where everything changes, because now every post you make is not just for growth, it is part of a larger strategy. Now we move into advanced positioning. Positioning is how you place yourself in the minds of your audience. It is the difference between being just another creator and being seen as a specialist, a leader, or a go-to source in your niche. And positioning is built through clarity and repetition. When your message is clear, when your content aligns with a specific theme, when your audience knows exactly what to expect from you, you become easier to understand, easier to trust, and easier to follow. But here's where the challenge appears. Because as you grow, the pressure to diversify increases. You may feel the need to try new topics, new styles, new directions. And while growth requires experimentation, losing your core identity can weaken your positioning. So the balance becomes important. You evolve, but you don't lose your foundation. Now let's talk about something deeper: audience psychology at scale. When your audience is small, connection feels personal. You can reply to comments, engage directly, build relationships easily. But as your audience grows, maintaining that same level of connection becomes difficult. And this is where many creators lose their authenticity. But the smart approach is not to connect with everyone. It is to create content that feels personal, even at scale. When your content speaks directly to your audience's thoughts, struggles, and goals, it creates the feeling of connection, even if the interaction is not one-to-one. And that feeling keeps your audience engaged. Now we shift into content longevity. Not all content is equal. Some content performs well for a short time and disappears, but some content continues to bring views, engagement, and followers long after it is posted. This is evergreen content. Content that remains relevant, valuable, and searchable over time. And when you combine trending content with evergreen content, you create both short-term growth and long-term stability. Now imagine your account like a system of layers. Trending content brings quick visibility. Evergreen content builds lasting value, and consistent posting maintains momentum. This layered approach creates stability. Now we move into something that defines long-term success: discipline. Because at this stage, motivation is no longer enough. You cannot rely on feeling inspired every day. You cannot depend on external validation to keep going. You must build discipline, the ability to show up, create, and improve, regardless of mood or results. And discipline creates consistency. Consistency creates trust. Trust creates growth. Now everything comes together for the final time. Your settings, your content, your strategy, your mindset, your positioning, all forming a complete system. A system that, when executed correctly, does not just grow, it sustains, scales, and evolves. And this is the difference between temporary creators and long-term players. Because anyone can grow for a moment, but only a few can maintain that growth, adapt to change, and continue rising. So the real question is not whether Instagram growth is possible. It is whether you are ready to commit to the process, to understand the system, and to keep evolving even when it becomes difficult. Because once you reach this level, you realize something powerful. Instagram was never just about followers. It was about building something that lasts.